Hi guys, this is Nikki, lead vet tech with PoshDogKnee Braces, and today I want to discuss elbow dislocations. I've seen quite a few in the last few weeks come through, and I thought it might be a good time to talk about elbow dysplasia and elbow dislocation, what causes an elbow dislocation, what we can do to prevent that. So things we typically see happen are, I would say the number one I see in clinic are dogs jumping out of the back of a truck. So that's quite a distance. When a dog has to jump, they're putting all that pressure on their front legs, especially those elbows. So when they land, if they land incorrectly, basically an elbow dislocation is where the ligament has either stretched or torn that holds that elbow in place. So there is actually a part of the bone that goes into a condyle, and when you normally bend, it should stay in place. But when those ligaments tear, that could be completely subluxated on the outside of the elbow and extremely painful. So these patients come in, they have that front leg hiked up, they're not wanting to move it, they don't want you to touch it. Sometimes you can see the bump that was where their elbow should be is to the side. That's definitely alarming. So if your dog has jumped or fallen off of a high height area like a truck or the back of a deck, I've seen off back of couches, and is severely limping, definitely they need to see a veterinarian immediately, ASAP. Another thing I've seen is car accidents, dogs that get hit by a car. That is enough pressure to definitely dislocate the elbow. Another one, unfortunately, is dog fighting. It's still out there, bad, but sometimes in dog fighting they can also dislocate or get a sport injury. If they're an agility dog, I have seen agility dogs that were just overuse over a time and that ligament broke, or they did a trick that they landed wrong, and sometimes that can dislocate as well. But again, these need to be reduced by a veterinarian. Do not attempt to put the elbow back in place. It's extremely painful. These patients need to be fully sedated in order to reduce that and put it back where it needs to go. Again, symptoms are severe lameness, you see visible deformity, pain, swelling at the site. Sometimes there might be a fracture, and definitely reluctance to move that elbow. Those are all emergencies and they need to be seen ASAP. This has to be diagnosed by your veterinarian. So your vet's going to perform a physical exam. Sometimes they can just tell by looking at it that it's dislocated, or if they can only get the elbow to bend a certain degree, they'll probably stop the exam. They probably know at that point and they're going to sedate, and then they can further test once your puppy is fully sleeping and not feeling any more pain. So generally they'll reduce it and put that elbow back if it is just an elbow and not like a fracture. Typically, they'll put it in what looks like a splint or a cast, so we keep that elbow immobile for at least a couple weeks. Usually they need like 2 to 4 weeks of an immobile device. And then what we've been doing is our elbow brace after that. So once we're comfortable that that's been reduced for the appropriate amount of time, we can put then an elbow brace on there to give them shock absorption and full support. Because again, if it is a ligament tear in the elbow, we know from experience with our knee brace that it definitely can take months to fully recover from a ligament tear. They might be feeling better in about 2 to 4 weeks, especially, moving that elbow again. But it's good to have support, maybe even for a few months, just to kind of give that elbow a break and time to heal on there. So that's where a custom orthotic like our Posh elbow brace would really come into play. And things we can do to prevent this again from happening is take your dog out on a leash. Don't let him jump up and down out of a pickup truck. Again, I see so many carpal and elbow injuries from that, also CCL injuries. Provide a safe environment. And again, I can't stress enough the leash walking outside, especially if you're in an area where they're just unfamiliar and you don't know the terrain. and accidents happen. I've seen dogs at a dog park. They, step into a sprinkler hole and their front leg goes forward, their foot stays in place, and bad things happen. So, accidents happen. We're definitely not judging or anything. We just want to help. And so if you have any questions about our elbow brace or elbow dysplasia, my email is poshintake1@gmail.com, and our website is PoshDogKneeBrace.com. And we do free vet tech consults. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to chat. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.